My shir is totally voluntary. I wanted to talk about the parasha a little bit. Of course, I wanted to start off with a story. So there is a Maisa with the Yesod V'Sherish HaAvayda. So until now I've said Rebbe Shemaises. I don't know if he qualifies as a Rebbe Shemaisa, but certainly as a Maisa Tzadik. And as you know, Parashas Emor has the Mayadim in it. It also talks about the Kahuna. So when I get to the Vart part, so that's going to be about those. And the story has to do with Sukkah, but it has to do also in general. In the days of the Yesod V'Sherish HaAvayda, so we could call this appreciation for Jewish soldiers. Now it's very negay to say these things, but this was in the Russian army, so a little different. So there was a soldier who came in. He was in the town where the Yesod V'Sherish HaAvayda lived, and he went into him. He wanted a bracha. Yesod V'Sherish HaAvayda looks at this soldier and he sees that the guy is mamish shining. He had like a ha'aras panim. And this is a Pashut Yid, a soldier. He was on the front lines, and he couldn't understand why he was shining. So he turns to the soldier and he says, I see a tremendous light coming out of you and out of your neshama. Tell me something you did recently that you should have this tremendous light coming from you. So he says, I'm a Pashut Yid. I didn't do anything. I don't know why. It's just, that's how it is. What should I say? So Lamaisa, after he was Chayka V'Derish, he says, yeah, I remember something happened. He said, what? He said, I'm a soldier. My job was to guard the border, that nobody should leave, and no infiltrators should come in to do any damage to us. And so it was, very hard work, and at night it's all dark and freezing cold and nobody's there. But if you slack off on the job, so you get shot. So he says, he knew about the mitzvah of Sukkah, and he figured he's in the Russian army, there's no way he's going to be mekayim the mitzvah of Sukkah. So he figured, what's coming down? Can't do it, you can't do it. It came Leil Sukkahs, and he's standing his guard, and he looks through his binoculars, or whatever it was in those days. It could be they had binoculars. I rather got a pair for my grandfather, which was made in the 1700s, and it still works. And so maybe they had good binoculars then. Anyways, he looks out and he sees that on the other side of the border is very, very tall grass and trees and stuff like that in one specific area. He didn't know what it was, but he started dreaming, hey, maybe that I could make that somehow. I could figure out that it should be a sukkah and I could chapa kazayas in that. So as he's guarding during the night, everybody's busy, just looking to do what they're doing. Nobody's especially interested because it gets very boring after a little while. And the watch commander fell asleep, even though he's supposed to be watching all the guards. So he figured, he's going to try his luck. Even though it was very dangerous because there were a lot of mines and all kinds of things in the field. And if he gets caught, he's dead because then he'll be suspected as a spy. But he figured it's pitch black, it's night. I'll climb over the border wall. Let's check out what's going on between those trees. Maybe he has some opportunity to find some wood. He could make some sort of sukkah or something. Of course, everyone's thinking, I'll make the sukkah yantiv. This is not the topic. Now it's the chavivas hamitzvah that we're talking about. So anyways, so he climbs over the fence. Nothing happened. He comes on the enemy side. He was scared that they're going to shoot him or whatever. Nothing happened. And then he found a few pieces of wood and some grass, and he was able to somehow make a sukkah. He had a piece of challah in his pocket. He made a bracha, and he was mekayim as much as he could. It was mekayim the mitzvah of sukkah. And then he climbed back over the fence and came to his side, and nobody saw anything. And he went back to what he was doing, and it was mekayim the mitzvah. So he told the Yesod V'Sherish HaAvayda, this is what I did. And everything, he says, yeah, it was Sakanas Nefashos, it was a big deal, but that's all I did. So Yesod V'Sherish HaAvayda looks at him and says, from that, I see a light coming from you. He says, but there must be something else. That's not enough. He says, tell me more. And he says, I didn't do anything, I don't know. He says, maybe one other thing, he says, the soldier says, I didn't consider it significant, but maybe, who knows? He says, yeah, what do you do? He says, after I went over the border wall, and I was able to sit in the sukkah for 2 minutes and eat my challah, and I came back. He said, the simcha that I had from doing that mitzvah, the sakana, was so great that from that point on till the next morning, I danced the whole time, singing the songs of sukkahs and so forth. He says, the other soldiers were looking at me. They figured out he went off the deep end in Michigan, so they left him alone. And he said, I had that simcha. So Yisrael B'Shor Shabbat looked at him and says, he says that simcha shel mitzvah is shining like not shayach. What you learn from there is, obviously, that every mitzvah, of course, you could be mekayim it many different ways. Oh, it's a pain in the neck, I don't want to do it. I have to go build a sukkah and then get a lulav. And you could make it into a dreary thought, or you can make it mamish to gress the simcha in the world. I mean, you can walk into any base medrash where you see, and in BMG, you see Ha'elam learning stark simcha atzuma till they go home. But at least while they're there learning, simcha is not shaykh. That's on the simcha Shabbat. Now, we say every day in the parasha. First, it talks about a kohen, and it says that a kohen that has a mum can't do avodah. The guy was hurt in an accident, or he was born with something. So forget, he's willing to give it his all, and he'll work out, and he'll be the best kohen and do the best avodah. Why should he be excluded from this tremendous mitzvah? So all the Mefarshim say, of course, that anybody that has a mum lamata is just showing you that his sheirish neshama has a mum in it. And the Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't want somebody that has a mum in the neshama to serve in the Beis HaMikdash, which is a little bit difficult to understand. But since we don't know cheshbainis, it could be from a previous Gilgul. We don't know that. But l'maisa, that's how it is. There's a mum, you can't do it. Similar davar, I'm just saying a similar davar. As you know, there's shemus of the Rebbeinu Shalom, some amidas hadin and some amidas hachesed. Mum is Mem Vav Mem, which is 86, which is Shem Elokim, is showing you that there is a Midas Hadin and this Kayin. And since the Tachlis of a Kayin is Midas HaChesed, so therefore it doesn't stim the Mum with the Midas HaChesed, so therefore he can't serve in the Beis HaMikdash. That's been the Gei Mum. Now, there's another Zach that I wanted to share with the Olam, which is, in my personal opinion, an unbelievable pshat. As you know, everybody heard of Rab Shamshon Astropolia, a Kaddish Elyon, and he wrote many Svarim. A lot of them were burnt, but we have crumbs. So there's some Torah that we have, but there's a sefer called Karnayim, written by somebody called Rabbi Aaron Kardina, who wrote also a sefer Tameh. I forgot about the time in the Dekra, but all the trup, he touches up all the trup what they mean. And so on this Sefer Karnayim, which talks about many different topics, which is very, very sasum, he wrote a pirush called Dan Yodin. And he says over there that we say in davening every day. I'm talking about sukkah. So we say in davening every day, really sukkah's nageh every day. Why? What do you say? You say, Yifrois Aleinu Sukkah Shleimecha. Right? What does sukkahs have to do every night with my ma'ariv? There's nothing to do l'chayra, right? So why do we say it? So what's the pshat over here? So if you take, I'm just quoting you. If you take the word sukkah, everybody knows the word sukkah is spelled samach, chav, vav, hey, right? So, okay, I spelled, but it's the same idea. So what's the pnimius of the word sukkah? Is the shem havaya, which is the chav, vav. What's the chitzonius of the word sukkah? Is the samachei, which is the shem adnus, right? So you have two things in there. Now, if you take the shem havaya and you line it up, in other words, you put it on top. There's 4 isis in havaya. Normally we do a shilov. You do first the yud, then the aleph, and that's a shilov, right? But here we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to make it like a schach. It's going to be Poirei Salenu. It's be like hovering, like an Emre Vetzis al Abanim. That you take the Yud, K, Vav, K on top, and right underneath it you put the Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud. Reason we do it is because that's like the schach. That the Havaya is on top of Froi Salenu on the bottom. What do you see from there? Because it's Freis Aleinu Sukas Shloi Mecha. So if you take the Yud, which is on the top, and the Aleph on the bottom, you do Yud times Aleph is 10. Then you take the next one, the Hey times the Dalet of the Adnus is 20. Right? Then you take the next one, which is Vav in the Havaya, Yud Kei Vav, and then the Nun in the Adnus is 6 times 50 is 300. And then you take the last one, which is again Hey times Yud, which is Baita 50. Take them all, it totals 376. Which is, and then you add the 4 letters of Shalom, comes out that it's Gematria, the Havaya, and the Adus is Gematria Shalom. Only in that order, because if you do 26 times 65, it doesn't come out that way. You have to do it this way, that each ice from the top and the bottom. So you see, Freis Aleinu Sukas Shloimecha, if you take the Havaya, which is Mesachech, and the Adnus, then you get the Shalom. What's the opposite of the Shalom? 370, because it really comes out to 376. If you don't put in the 4 ices, the Shalom is Gematria Esav, which is Remez L'Mulchama. Since we obviously don't want that, we want that everything should be Biz Shalom, right? So in other words, what you're seeing from here is that it's more than a Hamtaka. Normally we say this Hamtaka is a din, right? Here the Adus is the din, the Havaya. So here it's on a higher level that it's Freis Aleinu Sukas Shloimecha. What's the opposite? We say, Harachman Yivarach, Sukas David Hanai Foles. What's the Sukas David Hanai Foles? The David Hanai Foles is that the Havaya is not on top of the Adnus. That's hovering over the Adnus, so to speak, to be mamtikit. So when we're not oisim ritzoni shel makom, then is the sukkah, the Havaya is going to come down into the Adnus, and then it will be a Sukas David Hanai Foles. On that note, may we all be zoichet to always have the Havaya, the Midas HaChesed, hovering above us, and the Midas Hadin and the Gvura should only be on Asainim.
Beautiful.